Hey guys, Brad here with Custom Offsets. Got another episode of Lifts and Levels for you. This is going to be a zone kit. This is for 2015 to 2020, so current right now. Ford F-150 four-wheel drive trucks. This is going to be the 4-inch system from Zone. They also have the 6-inch. Pretty much the same kit between the 4 and 6. The only differences are going to be the rear block size and then the front strut spacer size as well. And then the shock length will be a little different. Actually, it might even be the same. Don't quote me on that. But we're going to run through this kit and show you all the components. Starting with the front of the truck, we'll talk about the lower control arm drop cross members. Is kind of the heart, or one of the pieces, I guess, of the heart of the front of the system. So lower control arm drops, these are going to be Zone standard, 1/4-inch plate, fabricated, cross members, super heavy duty. A lot of the other companies will use the thinner material. They'll use like 3/16. Zone, BDS, Sport Truck, all the same brand. They all use the 1/4-inch stuff, which is really beefy with their textured black finish on it. We got our differential skid plates, which are going to tie in between the two cross members when the front diff gets lowered down. Here's a little another piece as well for that. Up front, the lift is going to be achieved by the strut spacers. So you're going to reuse the factory struts on this with those spacers. And then the new knuckles as well here. These are the forged knuckles. Actually, they're going to be the same knuckles. Zone uses the same knuckles as BDS. So these are actually going to be the same ones, and it's the same knuckles between the 4 and 6-inch kit. Then we got our differential drops, which are here, these pieces to lower that front differential down. And we do that, of course, to help with the CV axle angles. You have to lower that front diff down because of that. And then these are going to be the sway bar drop brackets that also kind of tie into the rear cross member, the rear lower cross member. It'll tie into that. You'll see here it'll bolt up against that as well. It's another thing that kind of helps brace the whole front cradle assembly there on the truck. And that'll be, well, I should mention this. Also for the front is the front drive shaft spacer. This is simply because the front diff will actually move a little further away from the transfer case once it gets lowered down. So you need this front spacer so the drive shaft doesn't get overextended. This kit does not increase track width. It's more of like a GM half-ton, well, not even just half-ton. It's more of a GM IFS truck thing. Most Ford kits don't. I don't think I've ever seen one that actually increases the track width, but just in case you were wondering, track width is not increased. And got a bunch of other hardware here. They come with new cam bolts for the lower control arms here, which is nice. New cam bolts and the cams, everything, there you go. So you can adjust the camber angle end caster on the front of the truck. And for the rear of the vehicle, they have these nice fabricated rear blocks that measures about like 3 7/8 inch tall is what this block measures, about 4 inches. For the rear of the truck, some bump stop relocations, and then new U-bolts, U-bolt nuts, and then the upgraded Fox Adventure Series shock. This is pretty much the same shock as the Fox 2.0 Performance, except a steel body. Therefore, it's the Adventure Series, still a great performing shock with just a little less cost to it. We're gonna go ahead and install it on the truck, and then we'll check back later. All right, guys, we got the Zone kit installed on the truck here, so we're gonna run through the components so you can see how they are installed in the vehicle. First things first, we got our strut spacer. So up top here, you can see on top of the factory strut, we have the spacer. This is what's gonna provide lift to the truck in combination with the new knuckle as well. One of the nice things about these 4-inch lifts is you can see up in the air at full droop, there's hardly any angle on the ball joint, and there's hardly any angle on the CV axle shaft as well. So that's gonna prevent any kind of premature wear or anything like that because of the lack of angle on the joints, which is a nice thing. We got our sway bar drop brackets here. You can see they integrate. We talked about on the bench, they kind of tie in to the lower control arm cross member here, the rear one. That kind of braces everything up, which is a nice design feature. Also, while dropping the sway bar, you don't have to use new end links. You can use factory sway bar end links. Looking at this side, you can see the front lower control arm drop cross members. Remember, those are the same cross members, whether it's the 4 or 6-inch lift. This is the 4. Got our differential drop brackets here. You can see one here. There's one on the other side as well. Drop that diff down, flatten these CV angle axles out. The angle on the CV axles, sorry. And we got our differential skid plate, which I just keep getting in the way. Which you can see also ties in between the two lower control arm cross members. Just another way to brace everything up. And then the last thing is the front drive shaft spacer, that machine piece of aluminum. It's installed there to prevent the drive shaft from being overextended. And that's gonna be pretty much everything in the front of the vehicle. We're gonna go to the back now. All right, so moving to the back, pretty simple stuff here in the back. Since it's a leaf sprung truck, we got our standard blocks in the rear. These are a nice fabricated block, new U-bolts, nuts, and then of course we got the new Fox Adventure Series. This is the steel body shock once again. And then I believe you do have to move some brake lines around, bend some of the brackets, just to keep all the tension off the lines. And you can see there is no tension at all on the lines. And that's going to be the Zone 4-inch kit for F-150.